Welcome, everybody, to the World of Warcraft. I know what you're thinking. Vry, aren't you a Final Fantasy guy? Aren't you the guy who always talks about the Final Fantasy stuff and Final Fantasy lore? Why aren't you playing Final Fantasy XIV? Did you know that it has a free trial up to level whatever now and includes the award-winning this and that? Did you? Well, yes, I did. And I do have a Final Fantasy XIV subscription, and I do play it whenever the story gets updated, because I do enjoy the story. But honestly, in terms of the rest of the time, quite frankly, I find WoW to have the more engaging, just stuff to do around the world type of stuff. Including this new system, which was just added for the newest expansion coming out in a month, I think, actually. What's the date? A month from tomorrow. This is the neighborhood. This is part of their new housing system. Well, Final Fantasy XIV does have housing. It is fairly limited. There's only so many houses on lots, and you can only kind of go and pick one out and hope to get it. That there's a lottery system to get them. In this one, there are instances of neighborhoods, and there's a limited number of houses per neighborhood. As you see, there's a bunch of them here. But if a neighborhood if they end up getting this too full, they just create a new instance. Ooh, broken fence. Gotta fix the broken fence. It's only the neighborly thing to do. See? It's neighborly. Pick up twigs, stuff like that. We have an event going on in the neighborhood. That's why you see all these little things around here. It's the Niffin, the little smelly mole people. Smelly as in they smell things. They pretty much have... They're moles. They see things by smell. They are not smelly. I don't think. They might be. But their event is going on down in the neighborhood, so they're all hanging out down here in Town Square. Where all of the NPC neighbors hang out. So not only do you have player neighbors, but you also have a general neighborhood of NPCs that all hang out as well. And you get to know them. A lot of them all have names and things like that, and you kind of get to know them. Like, one of the things that's really kind of cool is, for this event, you can do mail delivery and go around and deliver mail to all of your neighbors, all the NPCs. And they'll tell you which, where to go and what to do. They also sell decorations and things down here. Yeah, this is the neighborhood where the NPCs hang out. They have different spots where you'll find more NPCs. There'll be like little areas around. Over here, there's a bunch of farms that the NPCs run. We'll see them as we kind of fly around a little bit more. But it'll also give you some ideas, because this is all stuff you can actually get for housing items. So if you just kind of look around their neighborhood, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I could set up something like this in front of my house, or I could do that, or I could do this. Trellises, okay, I could do that. But this is all just examples of stuff, and it's all just stuff you could do for your house. Let's get started talking about going to see some of the other neighbors before we get to my house. Unfortunately, my neighborhood, which is called... Don't freeze on me. I think it froze on me. Don't do that. There you go. My neighborhood is called Silent Sea Isle. See, a lot of people just have this. This is just the generic house. They put up a bush, a few things. And that's all most of them have done. But there's a few people who have kind of already gone the distance in terms of decking out their house. My first one I wanted to show off was this one. This is the gloomy neighborhood. But this is a Fionan's house. I don't know Fionan. I've never met them, but they live here. But as you can see, they've kind of got a spooky area with these massive plants growing around here, mushrooms. There's kind of a half-sunken chest in a boat, kind of tipped over, leaned over. Just the detail there. Like, this is a boat. They've got that leaned over, tilted. And then they've loaded it with boxes and chests and things like that. Like it was an actual overturned boat. But this is what I loved. I found this in their backyard. Look at that. That is gorgeous. So not only that, it's like a fountain with this giant owl thing and inside of a giant like night elf gate. All the plants growing around it. Mushrooms. I don't know if this is theirs. Or if this is part of the NPC area over here. It might be the NPC area. Like, I don't know how much of this is their lot versus... And it looks like this is almost like a little puppet show area, maybe? This is gorgeous. I love this. You can sit down here, and there's a big curtain. The thing behind it, it looks like it would be set up for like a puppet show. And then there's a quiet corner back here where there's some cushions and some more benches and kind of a cozy, quiet nook. What do they got over here? It's like a gizmo chest and a workbench. This is actually kind of cool. This is just a table, and then they've got some wood plaques and kind of a wall rack set up there. And then, of course, you have your outhouse back here. But yeah, this is the first house I saw that I was like flying around the neighborhood, and I just saw it, and I was like, oh my god, that is beautiful. This is more like the NPC area that you kind of see. But again, the NPCs areas are great because they provide you with a lot of ideas. Because all of the stuff made in the NPC areas, as I said, are essentially decor items you can get and set up. So the lights and the posts and everything like that on the benches and... Give you an idea of like what the interiors could look like. Ooh, I want that pie for my house. If anything. That looks delicious. I think the next house I wanted to show off... Yeah, some of these are just generic areas that are in every neighborhood. You'll see these going around. Towers and things like that, just to make it feel like a actual living area. And the NPCs wander around, like they walk around everywhere. Oh, yep. A lot of people still have like trespassing signs set up, so you can't go into their area or go onto their territory without getting ejected. But from a distance you can see some more, you know, they've got a little bit of stuff set up here. It's better than some people. There's a lot of houses in the neighborhood that are just doing the bare minimum. Like literally just, you know, the area's house. And it could be that they haven't just done anything with it because, one, they're maybe just not interested. They just wanted one and then like don't really care afterwards, wasn't really what they wanted, that sort of thing. A lot of people grabbed one and then went on a hiatus until the actual expansion comes out. So it's hard to say. This one, on the other hand, this is actually an available lot. We actually have quite a few in the neighborhood. So, I mean, if you end up wanting to visit or come hang out or live near me, it's always it's the Silent Sea Isle neighborhood. We've got a lot of plots still left open, especially kind of closer to the coast. I'm trying to find the other one I wanted to show you guys. There it is. This one is, what was it? Kadir's house. I found the one, this one actually earlier today, and it wasn't set up like this, I don't think, until recently. But it's another one where they're just like making good use of the stuff. Like they've kind of set up a orchard kind of feel to everything. There's a lot of big trees. They've got a little picnic bench, tent set up, a gazebo, a cool fountain. I like this fountain. Got some wagons all set up. So maybe he fancies himself something of a trader. Now, I don't know, is this part of Kadir's house? I don't think it is. This is a little nook area. Yeah, no, I don't think that area is Kadir's, or Kadir's property. He's got a little fountain set up front. He's got a void fountain. I like the putting the ivy on the front of the house is a very nice touch. He's got it all set up so it grows over this and then down the side of the house. And then right into his little garden on this side, which is gorgeous. It's simple, but very pretty. What do you want? You like a rabid dire squirrel or something? What are you? A badger? I guess that's kind of like a dire squirrel. You see, there's another available plot there. Hang out here with the vineyard NPCs. It's more of the Niffin event going on over here. They want you to make perfume, and then you take the perfume and you go and set it up around the area so it makes the neighborhood smell nice. I mean, that's generally the event going on right now. It's kind of cool. See? We have a house available right here. Right here on the beach. Isn't that lovely? Wouldn't you like to live on the beach? Speaking of like cool stuff you can set up yourself that looks like part of those NPC areas I was showing you. This person. They set up a little deck. A torch. And they built this little deck with little flower bins and everything like that, and benches and cocoa and stuff like that. It was their house. That's all they did with it. And it's not much. They haven't, like, decked out or anything like that. But this is really impressive. I love it. That person just set up a gazebo in the corner of theirs, which is also cool. I don't trust gazebos myself. I, on the other hand, had to scour a few times to get my house where I wanted it, which is on this little island way out here on the other side of this bridge. That's right. Welcome to Shave Rikirian. The music also helped right there, and I appreciate that. I didn't do that. So, of course, you come in with a trellis and a bell here at the top. You have two paths. One leads over here to the entrance of the house, where it's being guarded by massive gnomish Tesla coils, a goblin fountain with a rocket on top, as well as some more rockets and everything like that. And that'll lead you into the house. If you go down the side path here, however, you go to kind of like a little Gilnean area, where you have a nice little, like, Gilnean cart here with food. You know, some roast beast and some corn, some flowers. You got a griffin to get you out of here. You know, Nice little well with some growth around it. Keep going around. Oh, well, there's a nice little fruit vendor. Market stall. Kind of on the side here. Bananas and all sorts of stuff. And mead. This is honey mead. And I don't have a dog yet, but eventually they said they want to put it so you can have your minions roaming around on your property. So I have a doghouse for now. Little blood elf gazebo. I see you back there, little beaver, badger, possum thing. This is my overgrown little corner bell of Xiao Hao, the emperor. Kind of a tribute. I liked having it right here on the edge of the cliff. This is as far over as I could put it on my property. But it makes it so like you sit there and you can like watch the sun. You got the islands and everything, and you can kind of meditate at the bell. We have a flamingo that's been captured. But, you know, we're not horrible. We give it some shade on top there. Chicken coop. Outhouse. Some more gnomish gadgetry. However, over here, we have a tribute. You can probably guess who, if you know anything about my preferences in WoW and everything. But yes, I built a shrine to tribute, to memorialize Tyrion Fordring, one of the great paladins of the World of the Warcraft universe. I also, because it felt like the right thing to do if we were making a tribute to a paladin, might as well do another one. I found a flower that was as close to Arthas tears as I could find. So yeah, there's a little thing for Arthas there. Yeah, that's the tribute I made to... Meanwhile, on the roof, give you kind of a better idea of here, you'll have this wonderful mechanome crane that's constantly operating and moving around up here, as well as a laser beam for complete mad scientist vibes. Now let's head inside. Oh, we were in Tron there for a very second. So the first thing you see when you enter, of course, is a massive dark portal. We also have the armillary here, which allows us to change the lighting setup. Between default, which is the only lights in the house are windows or torches that you set up. Natural light, which is it matches the light that's outside. So if it's nighttime outside, it's nighttime inside. If it's daytime outside, it's daytime outside, inside, blah, blah, blah. Unnatural dark, which is... very similar to, like, the inky darkness potion that you can get. Makes everything very dark. Except for where there's light. Evening Calm, which kind of just gives everything kind of this nice reddish, pleasant sunset view. And Midnight, which I assume teases something, a visual effect they'll be using in the next expansion, where you get this kind of purple black light feel to the whole thing with this weird bluish fog along the ground. And it makes the whole house very creepy on the inside. We're going to go with Evening Calm for this tour, just because it's the easiest to show off things with. But yes, the main entrance is, of course, some fell pools around various greenery, On either side of the massive dark portal, which also has a wolf rug in front of it. Let's go with the partially unfinished area first. This one's still in the process of being worked on. The way the house is set up is something of a museum. I set everything up to be very much like a museum where you could go and kind of see cool stuff. You have a library, you have what's behind the dark portal, and you have over here, which I have dubbed the cultural wing. Why? Because each little nook and cranny here is dedicated to a different culture from around Azeroth. Like this one. This is the Night Elf area. You can see we have a Night Elf glaive, we have some tables and chests and all sorts of stuff that represents, Night Elf culture that you can find around Azeroth. On the opposite side, we actually have a Draenei section where you can see we have, Draenic weapons, various different things, an idol of a Naru made from crystal. The next room, however, doesn't have much in it. We haven't done too much in here. The only thing we have in here is the bird people, whose name eludes me, from the Spires of Iraq and Outland. I keep wanting to say the Rishi, but I'm pretty sure that's Star Wars The Old Republic. Wrong bird people. Harveys. We'll call them the Harveys. But yes, a various scattering of relics that represent their culture, their emphasis on alchemy, of like worship of the sun and their various things, and their literature scrolls. And that's unfortunately all I've got in this wing so far. As I said, it's under construction. But the thing I like about these little nooks and crannies, because this is called a cross-shaped room, which here, give you an idea of the floor plan. They look like this. They're just cross-shaped. But what they're great for is museum stuff, because you have the cross-shaped room, and then you can set up each little cubby on the sides as different dioramas and exhibits and things like that. Which I love, because I love kind of doing this whole thing. And yes, there is a room behind the dark portal. We'll go there in a second. So if you go through the dark portal, it actually is a doorway that leads you to the next room of the museum. Still working on trying to figure out a way to cover this up to make it look better, but I'll figure out something. This area of the museum is dedicated to the heroic classes of Azeroth. Mostly made out of the objects that were made for the class order halls in Final Fantasy... not Final Fantasy. What am I talking about? Not Final Fantasy. This isn't Final Fantasy. This is nice. I like this housing better than Final Fantasies. I'll show you why here in a little bit, too. But the Legion Remix added a bunch of class order hall decorations and stuff like that you could get. When they added housing. And so I went around and picked up a bunch of them and kind of made this entire area here a tribute to it. So you have this one. This is the Rogue Order Hall. The symbol of the uncrowned on the flag there. Various dirty dealings and whatnot. Various poisons and dark rituals. Not rituals, but, dealings. There's a spike pointing out of the wall. I don't know why. Over here's the Druids. If you recognize the fact that the big archway that Kadir used in their backyard is also this one right here. I've shrunk mine down instead of made mine huge, which is what Kadir did. Hanging from it, of course, is the emblem of the Druid Grove. various shrines and plants dedicated to a loon. A sea of one of the world trees. Over here is the shaman hall, where you have their big book of like ancient relic tome knowledge. Their flag is actually just brown with like torches of lightning or fire, which I found interesting. I mean, because it's supposed to be the earthen ring, and the earthen ring had already had a symbol which was this color, but it had like a big ring in the middle of it, but they didn't use that. I also had a big globe of fire, which I want to use another one of these somewhere else, just because it's such a cool visual. And then this wall is the monk area, where you have, you know, weapons, their scrolls, a little miniature version of their tree in the center of their shrine. A big fish incense thing? I don't know. And a gong. I just put this fountain in the middle because it kind of needed something in the middle to kind of tie the room together. And I didn't have a rug big enough, or else I would have put a rug. Rug's really good at tying a room together. The first time I did this room, I actually made it a rectangle room. Like, it was a rectangle shape. And there was a big rug that went through like the entire long rug that went like down the middle, but it was like only maybe the width of this fountain. But everything was kind of crunched into that one room. I didn't have the separate spin-off rooms like I do now. And it wasn't until I kind of figured out that the spin-off rooms are really good for this, that this is how I did it. So we travel in here. This is the most original one I've done. This is supposed to represent the evokers. Since the evokers can only be the Drakirian race, I just used a lot of Valdrakken decorations and everything to kind of represent the Evoker Order Hall. You have warriors with all of the items from Skyhold. And these are the demon hunters, where they're kind of decked out with their own decorations here. Eventually, I plan on having because almost every faction had some sort of flag. Like, there's the warrior flag, there's the demon hunter flag. I plan to have the flags actually, like, on the outside, so you have an idea of what's in the room before you go into it. So if you just wanted to go straight to the mage room, you could just look around and say, oh, there's the mage flag, I'll go in here. Speaking of which, there's the mage room. They have these cool floaty books, which you'll see we actually use somewhere else in the house as well. And I love this. That thing's actually clickable, and it turns into a little font of arcane power. Even the little heads, it's like arcane, fire, and ice. I love it. On this side is the Death Knight exhibit. You see their rune weapons and their Death Forge. And their little floaty books. They love their little floaty books. I don't know why. This, of course, is the Paladins with the Silver Hand banner. This book is really popular with people who kind of come up with weird builds in this game because it emits this beam of light from it. So I've seen people like take this and flip it upside down and stick it in the ceiling because it actually goes through ceilings and have it so it like creates kind of a lighting area for like an aquarium or something. Weapons. The giant stone tablet memorial thing that we had for Tyrian Forging outside actually is supposed to go with this exhibit. I need to go buy another one to go get it because I'm not getting rid of my Tyrian Forging memorial. This one is the priests. You have all sorts of just different books, and like I like setting it up this way because you have the light on that side and you have the void on that side, which is kind of their whole deal. This is the hunter exhibit. You can kind of get a feel for that. That guy. That guy's actually shrunk down. It's insanely big. I'll actually show you how big it is because we have another one. This is the Warlock area, which I actually love the look of all the Warlock stuff. Like this orrery back here with like the floating orbs. You can't really see it because the book's in the way for the most part, but it's just... And they come with a pit of fellfire. And their flag, just this burning fell hand, green hand. I just kind of adore the look of the Warlock stuff here. So that's the class hall area. And I plan to continue to add to that because it seems like from what I've seen early, the stuff with Midnight is that there'll be more chance to get some class related stuff. Since I wanted to tell you, that is how big the dragon skeleton is if you don't size it down. This massive thing that will take up like the entire area. Speaking of massive things that take up the entire area, there is Onyxia's head. Just hanging by some chains in the ceiling. I will admit, I got that idea from watching the Coming Home trailer that Blizzard just put out this last week. I saw them do that in there. I'm like, that would be a fun thing to just have sitting around. Finally, there's the library. This is our cozy little library area where we have some tea and some books, lots of books. Can you tell that I'm kind of a fan of libraries? You know, scrolls and various doodads and whatnot. Piles of books just sitting around randomly. I originally had a build where the eyes on this thing would glow, but they only glowed in one particular direction, and I'm kind of going back and kind of trying to figure out a better solution for how to make the eyes on it glow on the fireplace. Back here is our forbidden section. I'm also working on trying to get a gate that will go in the middle of this doorway, and then you'll have to open the gate to get into the forbidden section. Inside the forbidden section, we have more floating, flying books. We have books like the Penultimate Lich King and the Lost Writings of Emperor Shaohao. All sorts of different things. We have a book that flips itself a little bit. Yeah. And more room to expand and everything. But yeah, I'm planning on getting a gate to kind of put in this place. This way, so you have to open up a gate to open it into it. Yeah, that's kind of like the interior of the house here. I think it looks pretty good. I know I don't really have anywhere to sleep. Or do I? What's this? This bookshelf. It lights up when I mouse over it. What could that mean? That's right! Secret bookshelf door! I love it! And inside is actually my personal chambers, where I have a nice little bar, nice little fireplace, and my bed with my little plush Murloc. I have an architect's table here because I'm working on designing my home. Even behind this lovely little Pandaren screen, we have a bathtub and a sink and a mirror. This room is not quite finished yet. It's probably the newest addition to it. But yeah, I decided to put it like, if I'm going to have a museum, I got to have someplace I live in my house too, right? Well, where would I put it? Well, of course, a hidden room behind the library, where you won't know where my house or my room is. Ha ha ha. So yeah, that is kind of the cool housing stuff. But I wanted to show this off too, because this is the editing tools. Because this is what puts it above Final Fantasy XIV, in my opinion. Final Fantasy XIV, you can do a lot of stuff with housing, but there's a lot of stuff you can't do. You want to put that bust of Ifrit on the top of your fireplace? You have to use a number of glitches in the housing system to kind of maneuver it into place and then hope you never have to touch it again. Here, if I wanted to put, let's say, let's go in here. Let's say I wanted to do a similar thing. Let's say I wanted a fireplace. We'll take a fireplace. We'll drop a fireplace. That works. And we wanted to hang something on the front of the fireplace. That's nature. I don't want nature. Accents. Wall hangings. I mean, I don't have much, but how about a picture? There. Oh, what's that? Now it's just on there? Well, that's great. But look, the wood is in front of the painting. I wanted the painting to be a little bit higher. Can I get the painting higher? Well, I mean, I can, but it's a little too high, isn't it? Because the way I can nudge it, like maybe a little bit more. Well, that's the advanced tools. What's this? Oh, wow. XYZ movement axis? That is so cool, but now the top's just kind of floating there, isn't it? Can we do something about that? Oh, yeah. Here, rotate tools. XYZ directions. Well, now it looks like a little bit closer, doesn't it? Let's see, from this angle. And then we'll take this, and we'll move it a little bit back. There we go. But what was I saying earlier about making the skeleton thing a little bit different size? You can change the sizes? Absolutely. Scale it as big, well, not as big, up to 200%, or teeny tiny down to 20% of its size. So now, instead of a big portrait hanging on the wall, oh, what's this? Just a few adjustments. Aww. I have a family photo of Eretor sitting on the mantle. Isn't that sweet? And he takes such a lovely picture, that pretty boy. Boom! There you go! Isn't that insane? That's way easier. Do you know how long it would have taken me to do even a fraction of that in 14? And I could do that with everything in the house. Everything outside the house. Some things I can change the color of. I can customize the whole look of the house. Look, Belemeth Dark with a wall material of etched marble. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Or maybe instead I want to have Silver Moon Light. Oh, that's nice. It looks like a silver or red blood elf thing. But what if we put Night Elf wood behind it? Ooh, that's a nice combination. We can do stuff like that. And we can do each individual wall, or paint it so it applies to all the walls in the room. And the ceiling. And the floor. So yeah, the only thing I would really say that there's a few things I wish were not the case. I wish that it wasn't so hard to get some of the decorations or get the quantity that you might need for some stuff. Because some of these cost a pretty penny to acquire. A lot of them need to be crafted. Look at those. This is also something cool. I can actually preview any of this. I don't own most of these. Like, I don't own this thing. But I can preview it. And I could move it and scale it, anything I might need to. Oh, maybe not. I can't scale it or anything while I'm previewing. But I can move it around and give you an kind of idea of where it's going. what about that thing? The heck is that thing? I don't know, it's a giant pod person thing. Oh, we're going to be able to get busts of the things we hunt down as part of the prey system. That's going to be fun. That's going to go perfect with the museum system. How about a bag of plants? Actually, I can show you. This is roughly the gate I was looking to do. This is a little bit bigger than it would be. But I would squeeze it down a little bit so it would fit in here. But this is the gate. It's like a Dalaran gate. And the cool thing about this is that actually if you click it, much like the door over here, it actually swings open. Yeah, you can preview stuff and... Like, the biggest complaints I have is getting the quantity that you need and the leveling system. Ugh. Okay, so the leveling system here is... Right now, the max level is, I believe, 10. This will increase how many rooms you can place, how many things you can place in here, as well as other bonuses. Like this armillary thing was a bonus I just got for leveling up to do the lighting. At level 8, I'll get the ability to create larger exteriors for the house. Right now, everyone is stuck with a small house until they get to level 8. This just takes for frickin' ever. Like, you get it by either collecting decor, which gives you 10 XP out of the, 2,000 or whatever you end up needing for every level. So you have to sit there and go and think. It's like, you need 20,000... No. What am I thinking? You need 200 decorations. That you've never collected before. Duplicates don't count to level up your house. Or you can do endeavors, which are these little activities. I'm pointing out that the Niffin were wandering around and doing perfume things. Well, yeah, there's that, and there's do dungeons, do different events, do events in the Niffin's home territory, do some favors for them there. And as you do these give housing XP every time you complete one, including up to like 50, as I think is the highest I've seen. And you can do a lot of them multiple times. I've completed this one 6 times. These will decrease based off of what you get. There's also a hidden, not told you right now, maximum amount of housing XP you can get per endeavor, which sucks. For the record, these are neighborhood-wide. As you can see, some other people in my neighborhood have been working on other things, like Hendra Sadiro just killed some raid bosses. Decode killed raid bosses. Moofs just earned some honor, so they were doing some PvP. And you can see there's a bunch of... There's me. I was a good neighbor. So you kind of you get a kind of idea of like how many what your neighbors are up to and everything. But this goes very, very slow right now because it's only based off of what people are doing. And as this unlocks, luckily this does not affect the housing XP. This just affects the event XP, if you will. And as the event XP goes on, you'll earn more vendor items, like new decorations you can get from the vendors. Like, we just hit the first milestone. Out of 3, I believe. Which will unlock new items from the Niffin down in town, the center hall. Which is cool. It gives you something to do. Sometimes I'll just be kind of chilling and like in between things. I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to do some snail mail. I'm just going to wander around. I'm just kind of taking a break from doing decorations of my house. I'm going to wander around the neighborhood and put up signs and stuff like that. Or clean up or things like that on my way. You know what? Actually, you get the most points for like the neighborly event or thing, which requires you to get like 50 neighborly points to complete that goal for the endeavor. But the one that gives you the most is petting the animals. There's cats and dogs that just wander around the neighborhood. And once a day, you can pet a cat or dog and get like 12 points to that neighborly goal. It's insane. Whereas, like, fixing the fence will get you 1. Picking up twigs will get you 1. Petting the dog, 12 instantly. They are the best doggos and the sweetest kitties, and you must love them to get all the points, because they deserve it. In fact, I'm going to go do that right now. I'd show you the Horde house, but the Horde house really doesn't have anything going for it except for the Dread Gazebo. Because you can currently have 1 Alliance house, 1 Horde house. And don't be fooled by the fact that all the houses in the neighborhood are these basic Stormwind cottage kind of things. You can have different appearances. I'm not going to show you mine because it'll break everything. Actually, can I without breaking everything? Yeah, see, I could have a Night Elf house, too. And I'm sure they'll eventually add more to this. Oh, no, I did break everything. I was hoping if I canceled it, it would not break everything. Oh, well. Lesson learned. I'll go fix it later. But the Horde characters can have a Night Elf house instead of like an orcish looking one. And I wouldn't be surprised if you eventually saw the added, you know, goblin or gnomish. Some people I've seen begging for Forsaken style houses. They've got a lot of Forsaken decorations already. Right. Where are you? There you are. Kitty! Yeah, there's a ton of those.